All right, let's talk about something we all deal with pretty much every day, chatbots. You know, those little windows that pop up on almost every website you visit. They've kind of become our new digital coworkers, our instant helpers, and, let's be honest, sometimes our biggest source of frustration. So today we're going to break down why they're everywhere, what they're actually good for, and where this whole thing is headed next.
So, let's start with a feeling I think we can all relate to. Have you ever been completely trapped in a digital dead end with a chatbot? You're just trying to solve what feels like a simple problem, but you can't get a straight answer and you definitely can't get through to a real person?
And this is the dark side of automation, right? You type your question, you rephrase it, you try again, but you just keep getting the same canned responses. You're stuck in a robot loop. And yeah, while bots can handle maybe 50 or 60% of common questions, they just completely fall apart the second you need a little bit of empathy, or your problem doesn't fit perfectly into their script.
So that leads to a pretty big question. If they can be so maddening, why did they take over the internet? Why is a chatbot the first line of defense for almost every company out there? Well, the answer, as it so often is, really just comes down to simple economics.
The reason is surprisingly simple. It comes down to a single number. Supporting a customer through a live chat costs nearly 1/5 of what it costs to handle that same issue over a traditional phone call. For any business that's trying to scale, that is a massive incentive to automate as much as they possibly can. I mean, it lets them respond faster and slash costs, all at the same time.
And this lines up perfectly with how businesses are using them. You can see here about 70% of all chatbot interactions are just for handling basic inquiries. We're talking stuff like, what are your store hours, or where's my order? These are those high-volume, low-complexity questions that are honestly perfect for automation. It frees up the human agents for the more difficult problems.
But bots didn't just appear out of nowhere. They've evolved right alongside how we use the internet. Think about it. We went from typing commands in a text-based world to clicking around with the mouse in the browser era. Then the mobile era came along and just shortened our attention spans, making us value speed above all else. And today, well, we're in the conversational era, where people just prefer to ask for what they want. Chatbots are just the natural next step in that evolution.
So that brings us to today. With all that history and tech behind them, what are chatbots actually proven to be good at versus where they still feel a little bit, experimental? Let's break down the current state of play. Where they really excel is with the simple, repetitive stuff. They're fantastic for answering basic product questions, checking an order status, booking an appointment, or handling a quick password reset. These are the proven use cases. They provide instant answers for customers and take a huge load off of human support teams.
But where do they stumble? Well, it's in the more complex situations. For example, trying to build an entire shopping experience inside a chat window has seen really low adoption. Turns out, customers still prefer the visual experience of a website. And, as we all know too well, bots are just not equipped to handle emotionally charged or really complicated support issues. For now, these use cases are still very much unproven.
But here's where things get really interesting. Because in just the last few years, a massive technological leap has started to change the entire game. We are now entering the era of truly smart bots.
And the difference really comes down to this. For years, all we had were rule-based bots. They followed a very strict pre-programmed script. If you went off that script, they broke. But now, we have AI-powered bots. Thanks to tech like ChatGPT, they can actually understand context, they can handle complexity, and they can have much, much more natural conversations.
And this is leading to the next giant leap. The future is all about agentic bots. These aren't just for chatting anymore. No, these are AI agents that can take real action for you, like booking that appointment directly in the company's calendar, updating your customer record in the CRM, or actually resolving a support ticket across a bunch of different systems. They're moving from just being passive responders to being active problem solvers.
So knowing all this, how do we finally get away from that frustrating robot loop we started with? How do companies actually build a better bot that helps people instead of getting in their way? Well, it really just comes down to a few key principles.
First, you have to set clear limits so users know exactly what the bot can and can't do. Second, you got to make sure the experience is seamless, whether the customer's on your website, on WhatsApp, or on social media. Third, and this is a big one, you have to train and update the bot constantly with new info. And most importantly, number 4, you must always provide a clear and easy path to a human agent. That escape hatch is absolutely non-negotiable.
And make no mistake about it, this is not just some passing trend. According to the research firm Gartner, by 2027, which is just a few years away, chatbots are going to be the main way a full quarter of all organizations handle customer service. This is a fundamental shift in how we interact with businesses.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. As these AI bots become truly agentic, capable of doing almost anything a human agent can, what happens next? When a bot can solve literally any problem you throw at it, will we still need or even want to talk to a human at all? That's something to think about.